Hi, good morning. Tell me your name.
Lillian Williams.
Oh, wait, this is, oh, okay. That's what, we had
thought we
two
were
Williams,
Spanish.
like number
Okay.
one and number two on the docket. I was anticipating Isaac Murray Williams, but that's okay. Good morning. This is case number 20 CF 12142. Miss Adamson, would you place your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Alicia Adamson for the record for Lillian Williams. I'm just going to grab the file real quick.
Sure. Miss Williams, you were arrested for burglary of a conveyance, battery, domestic violence, petty theft, and criminal mischief. Miss Adamson, were you asking to be heard on probable cause at all?
No, Judge, I'm just, the victim is here. I also have a declination that he filled out saying he doesn't want to press charges, he's not in fear, and that if anything happens, he knows to call law enforcement, but he wants the case dropped. He's present in the box. And so I would just be asking for an RR on this case. And she's the one that called law enforcement on this case, but ended up getting arrested. And she's out on bond on another case, and I would ask that you take no action on that one.
All right, well, I do find probable cause for each of the offenses in the arrest affidavit. Well, first of all, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Hassani Bradford.
All right, Miss Adamson, did you want to inquire?
Yeah, Mr. Bradford, do you want to press charges against Lillian Williams?
No.
Would you like the state attorney to dismiss the charges?
Yes.
Are you in fear of Miss Williams?
No.
If there were something that happened where you were in fear or you felt that she did something that was criminal, would you know to call the police?
Yes.
Do you want her to get out of jail?
Yes.
Do you want to have contact with her?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, Miss Bush, did you have any questions?
Yes. Sir, how long have you been in a relationship with Miss Williams?
Like 3 years.
3 years. And over the course of those 3 years, have there ever been any other violent
Yes.
incidents? And were you the victim in those incidents?
No.
And the violence was against her?
Yeah.
I have no further questions. Thank you, sir.
All right.
At this time, I'm going to order, Ms. Williams, that you're not to have any contact with Mr. Bradford. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Bond on count 1 will be $1,500. Bond on count 2 will be $100. Bond on count 3 is $100. Bond on count 4 is $100. You're also not to return to the scene, which is the liquor master store. And I'm not going to revoke your out on bond case.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Philomena Sayed.
All right, and Mr. Knapp, would you just place your appearance on the record, please?
Joseph Knapp on behalf of the defendant.
This is 20 MM 858. Ma'am, you were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. Sir, good morning.
Morning.
Could you tell me your name, please?
Mark Sayed.
All right, Mr. Said. Mr. Knapp, did you want to inquire?
Yes, Mr. Sayed, what's your relationship with the defendant?
She's my wife.
How long have you been married?
13 years.
Has there ever been a situation like this in the past?
No.
And in the incident that took place, are you in fear of Miss Sayed coming back into the house?
No, not at all.
If you were in danger or in fear, would you be willing to call the police to report any kind of domestic violence?
If I was, yes.
Okay. And you wanted her to return home and have no hostile contact for the duration of this case?
I absolutely want her to return home, yes.
And you filed a declination of prosecution in this case as well?
Yes, I did.
I don't have any further questions.
Ms. Bush?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Who else lives in the residence with you?
Just my wife and I.
Just the two of you? There are no children in the home?
Just pets. No, that's all.
Okay.
Just
I have no further questions. Thank you, sir.
All right. Ma'am, at this time, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with your husband. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Yes? Ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And you're also not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Based upon the facts of the case and her criminal history, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You will be given a court date. You just need to make sure that you appear at that court date and stay in contact with your lawyer so that you don't miss the date. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
sir. Have a nice day. Good morning, your name?
My name is Terrence Shaw.
Oh,
Joseph Knapp on behalf of Mr. Shaw.
thank you. And this is 20MM 7279. Sir, you were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Ma'am, you'll have to move closer to the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, and then tell me your name.
Jamie Holiday.
All right, Miss Halliday, and then Mr. Knapp, did you want to inquire?
Yes. Hi, good morning, Miss Holliday. How do you know the defendant here?
He is my boyfriend.
For how long?
3 years.
And do you two live together?
Yes.
And do you want him to be able to come back into the house?
Absolutely.
Okay, and do you want to have no hostile contact with him?
Yes.
I mean, the judge has to put some sort of restriction on you because
Okay.
there's going to be no contact or no hostile contact.
Okay.
Which would
Yes.
you
No.
prefer?
No hostile contact.
Okay, and has there ever been an incident where you've been scared and not called the police before?
No.
And if you were in fear, would you call the police again?
Yes.
I don't have anything further for this one.
Ms. Bush?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Shaw, you are not to have any hostile contact with Miss Halliday. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms or possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor. Have
You're
a great
welcome.
morning.
You too. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name. What happened to Isaac Murray Williams?
He's out here. He's on Williams.
He's what?
You want him now? He's on the bench.
I thought he was the move up.
He is.
Okay. Sure.
And Your Honor, may the state have that case number, please?
I don't have a case number for Mr. Williams. Oh, it looks like it's 20MM 1827 and 20MM 1814.
Thank you.
We will, yeah. Just court minutes, regular, just regular.
So just like to proceed, I have no mental health concerns. He doesn't have a lot of family around here, but he does have a grandmother who gets a hold of him frequently.
Okay, so you do not have any concerns?
I do not have any concerns.
Okay. Mr., good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Isaac Murray Williams.
Mr. Williams, I brought you to court this morning because you had failed to appear in 2 cases that you have in Osceola County. And I wanted to talk to you about potentially resolving your cases. Would you like to enter a plea on both of those cases and resolve those?
Yes, this for both court dates?
It would be for both.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't really gotten over to go over there. I don't have a ride to get all the way out there, you know?
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm homeless too, but I have contact.
So you think it would be in your best interest today to enter a plea?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Murray, did you have a chance to read the plea form before court this morning?
Not really.
Can you take a moment, or maybe you can speak to Mr. Robinson about the rights that you're giving up today?
Make sure you read it and then follow.
Do you have the Osceola County court costs in here, that sheet? By any chance? Yes, thank you.
Judge, you said I understood the plea form. The only thing I'm missing is a case number I was going to fill out for you.
Oh,
But I don't
20
think it-
mm 1827 and 20 mm 1814. I'm just trying to get the court costs for Osceola County.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Robinson,
So they're both going to be
does it
adjudicated.
require,
273.
I'm sorry?
does it require the prosecutor's signature?
The county forms usually don't. If you want to sign it.
Oh, no,
just
no,
not
no,
in
no.
line for
I just
it.
don't know.
It's 273 on each. It's going to be 273 in each case.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Murray, you had a chance to talk to your lawyer about the plea form. Do you have any questions?
Yes, it's for this court day and the next one that was supposed to be scheduled after this, right?
Right, you had two cases in
Okay.
Osceola County, and you failed to appear at both of the court dates.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
these will take care of both.
Okay.
All right.
that's-
Are you on probation?
No, I'm not.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yeah.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
All right. And how much time does Mr. Murray have?
He has 14 days in the Orange County Jail.
Okay. Mr. Murray, in each case, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 14 days in jail with credit for 14 days time served. You're not to return to the scene. You will have to pay court costs in each case. Those are going to be due by October 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
That's if I disagree to it, right?
Pardon me?
That's if I disagree, I have the right to appeal, right?
Well,
You're
no.
giving up your rights to appeal like we talked about it.
Okay, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Theodore Leal, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has been previously sworn.
Great, thank you. We're in BRC 1, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just taking a little extra time to connect, Your Honor.
No problem.
Sí. Está bien.
Connected, Your Honor.
Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Buenos días, Edgar Sarabia.
Good morning, Edgar Salario.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Sarabia.
Eddie Sarabia.
Oh, okay. This is case number 20 CT 862. This is your arraignment for the offense of driving while license suspended or revoked. Mr. Robinson, how would you like to proceed?
He'd like to plead not guilty at this time.
All right. Savaria, this is rotation. Division 85, that's Judge Allen, pretrial conference, November 9th at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Can you just explain that this is just...
No.
Sorry, they're just getting an affidavit briefly.
Okay.
To get the public defender appointed. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, you.
Good morning, tell me your name.
Ramón Adame González.
Ramón Adame González.
Sí.
Mr. Gonzalez, this is 20MM7289. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you need the interpreter or do you speak English?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yes.
Tell me your name.
Perla Zavala.
And Mrs. Zavala, do you want to have contact with Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, I want him to come back home. It was just an argument that got out of control. But I want him to come back home. We have a daughter together.
Right, so you have no concerns about your safety or your daughter's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
If I have a safety concern, no, I don't.
Okay. During the course of your relationship, have there been any other instances of violence between the two of you?
No.
Ms. Bush, do you have any questions?
Ma'am, if something like this were to happen again and you felt threatened or you felt that your daughter's safety was threatened, would you call law enforcement?
But I don't.
I'm sorry?
If something like this was to happen again, yes, I would call.
So the answer is yes?
Yeah.
One second.
Well,
Okay.
like the
I
same.
can't hear if, okay.
If the same situation that happened last night, like an argument, would I call again? No. But if it's to get worse than last night, then yes.
Yes, ma'am, okay, because that's what I was asking.
Okay.
If you felt threatened
Uh,
or your daughter's safety was threatened, would you call law
Yes.
enforcement? Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Just briefly, you would like him to come home, and you
Yes.
understand that no hostile contact means that he can have contact with you and your daughter, but he's not to be hostile, and you understand those, and like, as Ms. Bush said, you would call the police if you felt threatened. Nothing further.
Sir, you're not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Zavala. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
No, todo está bien.
No, everything is fine.
All right, thank you.
Is he gonna be able to?
Do you have a question, ma'am? Can they hear out there now?
Stop. Look straight. Turn this way. Turn. Look at me. Look at me. Turn this way. Turn this way.
Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please. Ma'am, tell me your name.
Allison Sanchez Colombia.
This is 20MM7282. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please. Ma'am, you have to look at me. Ma'am.
Ali.
Ma'am. You have to look over here.
I can speak English.
What?
I speak English.
Okay,
Well,
then take the headset off.
Your Honor, if we could inquire if the victim speaks English.
Yes, ma'am, do you speak English?
No,
Okay.
I speak English little bit. I
Okay.
don't.
Sure,
Please.
no problem. Sir, Mr. Interpreter, would you interpret for the witness and not for the defendant? You'll just have to do it over the PA.
Very well, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is directed to the witness. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Dame su nombre, señora testigo. Su nombre y apellido.
¿Mío?
Ma'am, this is to
Oh,
you.
Esther Colonia. Esther Colonia.
Step Colonia.
Ajá.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Levante la mano derecha para que preste juramento.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Ma'am, do you want to have contact with your daughter?
Señora, ¿usted quiere tener contacto con su hija?
Yo tengo dos hijas y las amo a las dos. Quiero, por favor, decir unas palabras que la juez me permita.
I have two daughters. I love both of them. If please you allow me to say a few words, if you may.
Ma'am, I need you to answer my question. Do you want to have contact with her?
Señora,
Sí,
usted
con las
necesita
dos.
contestar la pregunta. Si
Sí.
quiere tener contacto con ella.
Sí,
Yes, yes, with both.
Are you afraid of her?
¿Le tiene temor a ella?
ay, espérate. ¿Cómo dijo?
¿Le tiene temor? ¿Le tiene miedo a ella?
Yo quiero que la juez sepa que mi hija, la que está allá, Allison, tiene problemas mentales. Ella tiene problemas mentales de adicción. Ella no está normal. Lleva 7 meses enferma. Mi otra hija es mi ángel, es cristiana. Ella es, o sea, esto para mí es lo peor que me ha pasado en la vida. Ayer fue el peor día de mi vida. Yo veo a mis dos hijas allí, pero Allison tiene una bebé. Allison necesita ayuda psicológica. Ella está mal. Ha estado en hospitales behavior muchas veces. Está
Okay, ma'am,
consumiendo
okay.
droga y
Señora,
alcohol.
Ma'am,
Señora.
ma'am, you have to stop talking.
Señora.
Just a minute, please. Could you tell me what she's
Moment.
saying?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like the judge to know that Allison has mental health issues. She's got an addiction problem. She's been ill for 7 months now. My other daughter is, by contrast, like an angel. She's a Christian. But that was like the worst day of my life. And Allison needs help. She needs psychological help. She has a baby, and she has been previously in a behavioral hospital for treatment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yo le suplico al juez, perdón, yo le suplico a la juez como madre. A mí me han dicho los policías que cuando yo esté donde una juez que le pida un marchment act, porque mi hija no quiere pedir ayuda, ella tiene seguro, el seguro cubre todo con Optum y ella no quiere ir a un hospital, o sea, por su propia voluntad, a pedir ayuda para que la saquen de esa adicción a las drogas, a la marihuana, al alcohol. Ella se está haciendo daño, todos los días se hunde más y más y hay una bebé de 3 años que la necesita. Por amor a Dios, juez.
Momento, señora. Your Honor, I implore, I'm pleading with you here as a mother. The police officer told me that whenever I was in front of a judge, I should ask, request to get a Marchman Act because my daughter, she doesn't want to get help, even though she has medical insurance, but she doesn't want to go to the hospital, and that would be for her own good. Each day that goes by, she just gets worse and worse, and she's got this addiction to drugs, to marijuana, to alcohol as well. She really needs help.
Okay. Ma'am, I don't have the ability to order anything under the Marchman Act. You have to go to the courthouse and fill out the proper paperwork and submit it to the court if that's what you'd like to do.
¿Qué dijo?
Señora, si usted lo que quiere hacer es eso, aquí en esta corte no tengo autoridad para obligarle a que haya un Marchman Act. Para eso, usted tendría que ir al juzgado.
Ya fui.
Momento, señora, no he terminado.
Sí.
tiene que ir al juzgado, llenar los papeles e interponer y consignar esos papeles ante el tribunal si eso es lo que usted quiere hacer.
Sí, yo fui hace 2 meses y está en proceso la custodia temporal de mi nieta, la hija de Allison. Está en proceso, lo hago hasta que ella tome ayuda y que sea una niña normal como ella era antes. Ella hasta febrero era una persona normal como todos ustedes. Ella trabajaba, era buena madre, buena hija. En marzo para acá, toda su vida se le derrumbó, Y ella está con depresión, con ansiedad, con psicosis, no se quiere tomar las medicinas, está alterada, ella está mal de la cabeza, ella necesita urgente. Ella me ha dicho a mí que se quiere suicidar. Ella ha pasado una autopista con la niña.
Señora. Momento, señora. Yes, Your Honor, I already went to the courthouse in order to get temporary custody. I went 2 months ago, but that's still in progress, so I can get temporary custody of my granddaughter until she finally gets some help, because she used to be a normal person like you and I until February. She used to work, she was a good mother, she was a good daughter, but from March up to the present date, she's been depressed, she's got anxiety, she's been extremely nervous, she doesn't want to take her medications, she's not all right in the head, and that's why I'm requesting that this is handled, Your Honor.
Tengo todas las pruebas,
No.
Sir,
You need to stop. Ma'am, stop talking and stop looking over there, please.
Y deja de mirar para allá.
Are you Geraldine Sanchez?
¿Usted es Shirley Sánchez?
Sí.
Do you
Yes.
speak English?
Yes.
¿Usted
Okay. Ms. Sanchez, do you want to have contact with your sister?
quiere tener contacto con su hermana?
Está bien.
It's fine.
Are you afraid of her?
¿Le tiene temor a ella?
No.
No.
Do you live together?
No.
¿Viven juntas?
Miss, or Allison, you are not to have any hostile contact with your mom or your sister. Do you understand what that means?
They're my family.
I'm asking you if you understand what no hostile contact means. Maybe Mr. Robinson could explain that to you, please. Geraldine Sanchez. Must be on TV.
Okay.
Do you understand what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You will be tested through pretrial release. You're also to take any prescribed medications as directed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Ms. Sanchez, you were arrested in case number 20MM7281. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Allison, do you want to have contact with your sister?
Yes.
Okay. You're not to have any hostile contact, Geraldine, with your sister. Do you understand what that means?
No.
Señora juez,
Your Honor.
Just a moment, please.
Un momento, por favor.
And then, Ms. Sanchez, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
No.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Sobre mi sobrino.
Pardon me?
About my niece.
I didn't hear you.
I had a question about my niece.
I don't have any jurisdiction over your niece. I don't have anything to do with the custody of your niece. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Van a colocarle libertad provisional a ambas y van a prohibir que usen sus drogas, que porten armas. No pueden tomarse ninguna droga a menos que sea por prescripción médica. Y los contactos tienen que ser sin hostilidad. Y esta corte no tiene jurisdicción para hablar de custodia de sobrinos.
El que me está hablando en español casi no le oí. Y yo quería, por favor, dígale a la juez que yo tengo toda la historia de ella, de los hospitales behavior que Allison ha estado.
And I also wanted Your Honor to know that I have the whole history here with the whole background with her the time that she was in the hospital for behavioral reasons.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Gracias, señor.
The hearing is
Gracias.
finished. Thank you.
¿Qué dijo
Ya
la
la
juez?
audiencia ha culminado. Ha terminado la audiencia.
¿Y me puede explicar qué decidió la juez, por favor, en español?
Can I know in Spanish what the judge decided?
Mr. Interpreter, didn't you just say that?
Yet, Your Honor, the witness was asking whether what the judge had previously said could be said in Spanish.
Right, I thought you explained it in Spanish.
The interpreter did, Your Honor.
Right.
¿Me puede explicar en español, por favor, qué dijo la juez?
Okay. Could you just tell her that they're being released on pretrial release, please? They'll be released later today.
Señora, ¿me oye ahora?
¿Cómo?
¿Me oye?
Ahora sí, por eso tengo aquí. Sí, hágame
Van
el
a
favor.
salir, ambas van a ser puestas en libertad, con lo que se conoce como libertad provisional y tienen que atenerse a las normas. Ellas van a salir hoy de un rato, tienen que hacerle un proceso y van a salir.
¿Y qué tengo que hacer yo ahorita? ¿Qué
What do
puedo
I
hacer?
have to do right now? What should I do right now? What can I do?
You just can wait for them to be released.
Usted puede esperar mientras ellas la sueltan.
Entonces voy para abajo. Bueno, dígale Dios los bendiga a todos. Lloré bastante. Hay mucha gente en Colombia orando para que les dé sabiduría. Esto no es
Thank you, Your
deseo a
Honor. God
nadie.
bless you. And many people in Colombia are praying right now so that they get some more wisdom. And I don't wish this for anyone else.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
Sir, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Jefferson Jimenez.
Jefferson Jimenez.
Sir, you were arrested in 20 CF 12123 for possession of cocaine. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. I'm revoking the bond in 19 CF 8700. That bond will be set at none. Thank you.
O sea, tengo derecho a una fianza.
So do I have the right to bond out?
Not today, no. You'll have to have your lawyer
Hoy no.
file a bond motion.
Un abogado va a tener que interponer un recurso para que le puedan dar fianza o pedir fianza.
Tengo derecho a una fianza.
Counselor, good morning. Who are you here on?
Good morning, Your Honor. Frederick Traywood. We arrested Darren Balker.
Oh, okay.
Judge.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I was double booked. You can see me as well.
No problem.
But my client,
Tell me your name again.
Traywood, Frederick Traywood, T-R-A, B as in boy, O-L-D as in David.
Trable. Got it. Thank you. Okay, and that's our last one, correct? Oh, is it Moreno? Okay. And is this Mr. Moreno? Good morning, Mr. Moreno.
Morning.
You are here in case number 20MO1038. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Moreno on the disorderly conduct?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
Did you want to accept that offer, sir?
This one.
Okay, sure. Take your time.
Judge, you'd like to enter a plea of no contest to the charge?
Sure. Mr. Moreno, did you understand? Mr. Moreno, did you understand what your lawyer explained to you
Yes.
about the rights on the plea form?
Yes.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yeah.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yes.
You are under the influence of drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
or medication? Which one?
No. No, I don't need drugs. That's it.
You can speak in Spanish. We'll translate.
Alcohol. I'm feeling crack.
No, right now.
No,
Currently,
no,
as you're
not
speaking
now.
to me?
Not now.
Not now.
Okay, sir. I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by October 8th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal. I'm not going to revoke the out on bond case. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. That's all we have.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Have a nice day.
You too, Your Honor.
I think one more, right?
No, that's all of us. Oh, one more. She, yeah. Yep, you're all set. Yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion.
No, it's okay, now I know.
Yeah.
If you have any questions after I left, I can leave you my phone number.
Yeah, do you mind?
Yes. 407
Yeah.
995.
Good morning, your name?
4785.
Darren Barker.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Odette.
What?
Please,
Odette.
Your Honor.
My name,
Frederick
okay,
Bill,
just
behalf
put
of
it there,
Walker.
Odette.
Okay,
Oh, excuse me.
perfect. Thank you
It's very
so
loud.
much.
I'm sorry. It's very loud in here. I can't hear
Sorry,
the
Judge.
attorney.
Your Honor, I ask the court to accept the order tenants notice of appearance. I will follow up with writing as soon as I find a printer cartridge for my printer.
All
I've
right.
gone to a couple places already, haven't had much luck.
Sure, that's no problem, Mr. Trable. This is case number 20 CF 11396. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name.
Darren Barker.
Mr. Bacher, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard with respect to bond as to count one?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts contained within the sworn affidavit for the arrest warrant. Those facts were provided via investigative methods and also by a second victim who provided facts that led to law enforcement identifying Mr. Bacher as the individual who, during a drug deal, did participate along with two other defendants, one of which is his brother, to commit an armed robbery. And in the course of that robbery, one of the other co-defendants did shoot one of the victims in the head, and the victim died. The state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Bacher is the person so identified and hold him at no bond as to count one.
Mr. Trable, did you want to respond?
Your Honor, this time we'll defer to the discretion of the court, reserve the right to argue whether the presumption is great or the proof is evident at to the assigned court hearing officer. If the court feels that the proof is not, or the burden is not met, we'd ask the court to grant a bond at that time. If not, Your Honor, we would reserve argument for a motion and subsequent hearing before the circuit court judge assigned to the case.
Okay, so at this time, you are not making the state meet their burden. At this time, you're going to waive that, and you're going to set the entire hearing downtown. Is that what you want to do? Or did you want me to make a finding as to the proof evident or presumption great?
Your Honor, this time I haven't had enough opportunity to prepare an argument other than I'll argue, Your Honor, that
Mr. Tribble, I'm happy to have you set this in front of Judge O'Kane in Division 20. You can have the entire Arthur hearing, so you have an opportunity to review.
we would defer, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. At this time, I'll just put that the defendant waived his right to make the state meet their burden of proof evident presumption great at the initial appearance, and you've reserved your right for the entire Arthur hearing
Yes.
in Division 20.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so bond will remain at none as to count 1, and it will remain at 10,000 as to count 2.
Thank you. I'll copy the whole second.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes,
this is the only matter I have before this court. With your permission, may I be excused?
sure.
Thank you. Ms. Bush, pleasure.
Always. Before Mr. Traybold leaves, are there any other conditions that the court is going, or is that you're
I'm going to
just going to
leave
wait
it
for
just
Division
as
20?
it is. Let me see what's in the warrant. I'm not going to disturb the warrant. There's no conditions on the warrant, so I'll let
All
Judge
right.
O'Kane set all the
Thank you.
conditions. And the bonds are the same. Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Sheffield's behavior, Your Honor.
Okay, how about Carisha Mojica Colon? Are we just putting that back in the regular traffic docket then?
Yes.
Okay. And then, I'm sorry, Sarah Davis?
She's mental health.
I'll reset Ms. Davis's case. Joseph Inga?
Mental health.
I'll reset that case. Levon Sheffield?
His behavior.
Finding a waiver of his appearance based upon his inability to come to court due to his behavior. This was reset for probable cause determination in 20 CF 12060. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Ms. Bush, was this to provide information about the prior battery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you have that
And
information?
I do have that information, Your Honor. The issue I have been trying to print the jurat,
Okay.
and I can show it to defense counsel and to the court, but this is what keeps printing
Okay.
these humongous things, and I can't get the whole jurat printed.
If I may interject, if I could just see the Durad, there's not going to be any probable cause
Okay.
challenge from defense.
Do you want to just show
Yeah, I just
Mr.
wanted-
Robinson?
And if I may approach, Your Honor, with the probable cause. And if we, Your Honor, if the court doesn't mind, if we could approach together with the state's computer, just for the
Oh, sure, that's fine.
defense and the court to see that the jurat is here.
I just want to make sure it's here.
It's all right.
And here's the.
Scroll down.
I'm just,
Oh, it's just not help. It's
I
not
was not
cooperating.
looking. I couldn't see over here to scroll.
Got it. Okay, and then I'll just file this affidavit. All right, the court does find probable cause bond is $2,500. Mr. Stovall? Sir, good morning. You're Mr. Stovall? Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
you were arrested in 20 CF 12063 for resisting officer without violence and fleeing and eluding. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 100. Your bond on count 2 is 1,000. Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Taylor Michael. Michael Taylor.
Yes, sir. You were arrested in 20 MM 7277 for trespassing. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public.
Trespass one. Every time I leave here, they take my
I know.
money.
Listen, Mr. Taylor.
My mother died.
Mr. Taylor, you can't go back to the 7-Eleven. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
The 7-Eleven on Orange Blossom Trail.
Man, take
901.
me somewhere else.
Huh?
I'm ready for my plane to get back to where I live at.
Where are you living?
Panhandle.
In the Panhandle?
One day in jail paying another 30 nothing.
Mr. Robinson, can you please make sure you have a good address for Mr. Taylor?
Yes, okay, I have one. I'll double check right now.
Okay.
Because we have some other dates.
Thank you.
Judge, I don't have a good address for Mr. Taylor, but I can tell you he's been adjudicated competent somewhere in the 2,000
Still hearing a whole
times.
bunch of gang of
Yeah.
robberies.
Mr. Taylor, you can't talk.
Say it for
unless
your
you're-
name?
Mr. Taylor, stop talking or you're not going to be
Robert.
able to stay. He is incompetent?
Yes, I can
Yeah.
give you countless case numbers.
You guys know how to get in contact with him?
Yes, 'cause
All right,
we've
because I
done-
see in the 6327 case, how he's got an arraignment coming up on the 15th.
Yeah, he's been coming to court whenever he gets court dates. We don't have an address, but he's been coming to court.
Mr. Taylor, I'm going to release you today with the condition that you have to appear in court and that you also are not allowed to go to the 7-Eleven. Do you understand?
No.
All right, sir. Thank you.
And no action on his out-on-bond cases?
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Baker. Ronnie. Oh, my bad. Ronnie Baker.
Mr. Baker, you are here in 20 CF 10211. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated assault with a firearm, assault, and criminal mischief. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. Bond on count 1 is going to be $3,500. Bond on count 2, 100. Bond on count 3, 100. I am revoking the bond.
Excuse me, ma'am, Miss Carter, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because the lady told me to ask you, and the pre-trial thing is, I have my trial is actually. Oh, you're the public defender?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, tell me your name, please.
Lisa Wareham.
What?
Lisa Wareham.
All right, Miss Ware, you're going to have to speak into the microphone, please.
Sure.
I think she's for the next defendant, Your Honor.
Yeah, this is not the listed victim for this case. What case are you here on, ma'am?
With Eugene Coleman.
Okay.
Person on the wall.
He would like to take no action on the previous case and
Because
grant
I have-
reasonable bond in these cases.
I have trial tomorrow, ma'am, for that case that I have that I have in Osceola, and that's why the pretrial release lady, she told me to ask you that if you could take no action, being that I have trial on it, so that I won't have another to get this issue, to get the bond on this issue, and then to take no action on that, so that way I could be able to go to Osceola tomorrow for my trial, because the trial starts on that tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow for the 9th.
I don't know that they're having jury trials.
No, I have a trial on that case. I had, because what it was is I had a trial last month in
Osceola
September,
County,
and
Pardon me?
I was saying,
it's on the TV. I was there. It's on TV. I go there in the court. The judge, he's on a TV when I go, but they only allow like a certain amount of people in the courtroom. I'm guessing because when I went with my mom. They didn't allow my mom in the courtroom, and they just told me to go up because I'm the one with court. Yeah, but I do have a trial set for tomorrow on the 9th, ma'am, for this case.
do you like to?
Your Honor, I'm looking it up.
Thank you,
No,
Ms. Bush.
it's tomorrow because this is the second trial set for it because last.
2019-32.
You loud. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad.
It shows for October 12th.
Yes, Your Honor, it's showing for October 12th, but I'm looking to see. I had not heard that they were starting,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but there are subpoenas issued for October 12th, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm still revoking the bond, sir. You'll be able to talk with your lawyer
Ma'am?
about your case. I am. Yes, thank you.
That's.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Eugene Coleman, ma'am.
Mr. Coleman, this is 20 CF 11169. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated assault with a firearm, battery by strangulation, domestic violence, false imprisonment, and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to a law enforcement officer. Ma'am, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Lisa Wareham.
Right. Ms. Wareham, do you want to have contact with Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you live together?
Yes.
Do you have children together?
No.
Are there any children in the home?
Yes.
How many?
1.
How old?
12.
How long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Coleman?
Almost a year.
Have there been other instances of violence between the two of you?
No.
Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, if something like this incident that we're here on today were to occur again, or you felt that your daughter was in jeopardy, would you call law enforcement?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
If you felt that you were in danger or your child was in danger, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance contributed to Mr. Coleman's behavior during this incident?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Anything, Mr. Robinson?
None from the defense.
All right. Mr. Coleman, you are not to have any contact with Ms. Wareham. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 2, $150. Bond on count 3, $100. 4, $150. 5, $150. Mr. Coleman, do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
Can you say it one more time again, ma'am? You said I have bond on what?
So it's 2,500 on count 1, 150 on count 2, 100 on count 3, and 150 on 4 and 5.
Give me 1 second here. So, okay, account 1 is the aggravated assault
With a firearm.
with the firearm, and that's 2,500. You
Yes.
said.
Yes.
And then so my bond amount would be like 10% of that.
I don't know. You have to add it up.
Okay, all right.
All right,
And
thank
then,
you.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning, Frankie King.
Mr. King, you're here in 20 CF 12126. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, Mr. King. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
What, can you say that again, ma'am? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it too well.
That's okay. I'm placing you on pretrial release. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
What does that mean? I'm sorry. I'm not too familiar with this.
Okay.
Judge, I'll
Pre-
speak to him. Never mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Good morning, Ariane Lowe.
Mr. Lowe, you're here in 20 CF 12115. You were arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, battery, dating violence, and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Adaja Williams.
Miss Williams, do you want to have contact with Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you live together?
No.
How long have you been dating?
3 years.
During the course of your relationship, have there been any instances of violence between the two of you?
No.
Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for Ms. Williams?
Ms. Williams, if something like this were to happen again, and you were put in fear for your safety, would you call law enforcement?
No.
You would not call law enforcement?
No.
Even if you were concerned about your safety, you wouldn't call law enforcement to help you?
If it was that serious.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, but my question is, if something were to happen that made you fear for your safety, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Robinson?
Just a brief clarification. Earlier when you said you would not call law enforcement, that was just not for mild instances that you didn't feel for your safety. If you were fearful for your safety, you would call law enforcement, correct?
Yes.
You wouldn't hesitate?
No.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
What would you like to say, ma'am?
Well, I didn't call them because I was scared of him. It was another situation that happened to why I called the police. But I didn't call them because I was scared of him or anything. He didn't do nothing to me.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Lowe, you're not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Williams. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions, sir?
To you?
Correct. You can't speak to Ms. Williams here in the courtroom. If you have a question for me, I can try to answer it for you.
Oh, nah, thank you for that.
You're finished?
Thank you, that's a blessing.
Okay, thank you.
And that was no hostile?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Good morning. I'm Nicole Ogurk.
Ms. Ogurk, this is 20 CF 12140. You were arrested for false imprisonment. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victims. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapon or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. Your bond is $1,000, ma'am. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
No, ma'am. I don't know what that means about false imprisonment.
Pardon me?
I don't know what the term false imprisonment means. That's all.
Okay, so you'll have to have your lawyer explain to you
okay.
what that is, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Shrimpland is medical?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Robinson, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him. Do you want to waive the appearance?
Yes, Judge.
That's 20 CF 12141.
Yes, for Mr. Shrimpley?
Shrimpland.
Yes.
He was arrested for 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. There's probable cause. The public defender's been appointed to represent him. He's not to have any contact with the victim. He is to maintain a separate residence. He is not to have, he's not to possess any weapons or firearms. And that's both victims he's not to have any contact with. He may have a one-time return with law enforcement to get his things if needed. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150.
Thank you, Judge.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Algie Simmons.
Mr. Simmons, you're here in 20 CF 12131. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess or consume. I'm sorry, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. Bond will be $2,500. You have a Seminole County case related to a grand theft of a motor vehicle. The bond is $2,000. I'm revoking the bond in 20 CJ, that must be CF, 20 CF 1542. The bond in that case will be set at none.
Yeah, it's a CJ case. They moved it from a CF case, transferred it from a CF case to a CJ case.
What?
It just shows in the clerk of courts, it was transferred from a CF case to this CJ case that she's
I'm
reading.
thinking that's a Scribner's error because it's that reverse transfer.
He's 19 years
He's
old.
19, doesn't happen.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'll pull that case up and
Let me see if I can.
20 CF 1542 is a Matthew Hamilton.
I'm going to pull up 20 CJ, Your Honor.
I'm seeing if we have anything.
542. And for whatever reason, that is under his name.
It transferred from 2020 CF 6673AO.
Motion to transfer signed by Shannon Korak. On the day of that offense, he was 17.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, I'm still revoking the pretrial release in that case. Bond will be set at none. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Ivory Williams.
Mr. Williams, this is 20 CF 11486. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated battery with a firearm and aggravated assault with a firearm. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Karina Williams.
Ms. Williams, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Williams, do you want to have contact with your husband?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you live together?
Yes.
Do you have children together?
No.
Pardon me?
No, ma'am.
No children in the
No.
home? Are there children in the home?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
3.
How old are they?
13, 8, and 6.
Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for the witness?
Ma'am, do you have any concerns for your children's safety?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any concerns about your children witnessing violence between the adults in their home?
No.
Was DCF ever called in this case?
They did call DCF, which I don't know why, because my kids were asleep.
I'm sorry?
They did call DCF.
Okay. And how long have you been in a relationship with your husband?
7 years.
And over the course of those 7 years, has there been violence in your relationship?
No, ma'am.
If something like this were to happen again, and you felt that you were in danger or your children were in danger, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
No questions.
Mr. Williams, you're not to have any contact with Ms. Williams. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, you said I can go to the house one time to get my things.
Right, with the police. You'll have to call the non-emergency number and they'll explain to you how you do that.
Okay, so I have a no contact with my wife.
That's right.
So for how long?
Until the order's modified in writing. You'll have to have your lawyer file a motion.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right here.
Good morning, your name?
Jaquavius Belgrade.
Mr. Belgrave, this is 20 MM 859. You were arrested for battery, dating violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered, sir? All right, thank you. What, Mr. Boyd? Robert Boyd? Sure. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Robert Daniel Boyd, ma'am.
Mr. Boyd, you are here in case number 20MM 863. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for violation of a domestic injunction. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are to abide by the injunction that is in place. Your bond will be $2,500. I'm revoking all of the bonds and the out on bond cases. Those will be set at none.
Excuse
Thank
me,
you, sir.
ma'am.
Sir.
May you please not revoke those bonds? I was in the program, and we don't have a no contact order. We have a non-hostile contact by consent, and I've been following all the rules on the injunction. I was picked up from Fresh Start Ministries, ma'am. Please, it's taken me a long time to get into that program. And if I did misunderstand that, I'm sorry. The actual title of the injunction is non-hostile contact by consent. And I was in Fresh Start, and I did my mental health evaluation, and I was picked up from Fresh Start on Edgewater.
All right, I'm hearing you. Just give me a minute, okay?
Yes, ma'am, please. I am so sorry. And if I did misunderstand you,
Stop talking.
okay.
Sign right here and listen.
weird. Ms. Bush, did you read the injunction?
He did, Your Honor.
To me, it's a conflicting injunction. I feel like it's very unclear. But and I read the affidavit for the arrest. And it doesn't even appear that he violated the injunction because it's no hostile contact. The respondent shall not have any contact with the petitioner while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. There's no allegation that there's of that in the affidavit. And the respondent shall not go to the petitioner's home unless invited, and he didn't go. And there's no facts in the affidavit that she said to stop calling. I'm not going to revisit the probable cause issue on the warrant, but Mr. Boyd, I'm not going to revoke your bonds.
Yes, ma'am. And I promise you, this thing is so
But
crazy.
listen to me.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not even going to call her.
Don't talk.
This
Yes, ma'am.
is
I'm
what I'm
sorry.
going
Yes,
to tell
ma'am.
you. Okay.
I'm
great.
sorry, ma'am.
Nothing you can say can help you right now.
Okay.
So just it's better to say nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Boyd, when you go back to court and you see Judge Lattimore, who this is set in front of next month,
Okay.
I would ask for some clarification on the injunction because it's confusing and it's conflicting.
Okay.
But clearly, because she called the police and reported that you were calling her to get your identification card, whether you were or you weren't, she doesn't want you calling her.
Okay. That's
Okay?
fine.
So I would take it as no contact.
Okay.
And then you won't find yourself in this position.
Yes, ma'am.
And that would include having other people call her too.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand?
So what happens now?
Did it set $2,500? Your bond is set at $2,500. You're going to have to post your bond.
Okay. Ma'am, can you, by any chance, I spoke to PTI, or can you ROR me? Because I just posted all those bonds, and I'm going straight back to Fresh Start Ministries.
No,
20.
I cannot.
So 2,500?
$2,500.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
And Judge, do you want the no contact order that is signed or no? I don't know if that's going to be.
We could issue the no contact in this case, and then we
Okay.
won't have to worry about the.
It's just an awkward scenario
Yeah.
because normally I don't ever order anything that's in conflict with the injunction. But I think in this case, I'm going to order no contact. And then there's no confusion. So you cannot contact her. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you violate that order, you will be back here and all those bonds will be revoked.
Okay.
Okay?
So I am able to bond out?
You are.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
You have a very nice day.
You too. Good luck. Thank you. Okay. Are you Miss Motley?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, good morning. This is 20MM501. You were arrested for battery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions, Miss Motley?
Actually, my sister's the one that brought her things to my parents' house, so I need her things gone there.
Well, listen, if
I
she's there, you
allowed her-
can't be there, Miss Motley.
No, I'm the one that's living there.
I
She's not-
understand, but what I'm telling you is that if she is there, whether you live there or not, you
She's
can't
not
be
there. She lived by herself. But
Okay.
I allowed her to bring her things yesterday, put in the SUV, and I want to know, what do I do in order for her to get her things with the no contact, which I asked for the no
When she comes
contact.
to get her things, you can't be there. She'll have to arrange that with your parents.
They're in the Dominican Republic. I'm the one that has the
Ma'am, You're
permission.
gonna need to talk to your lawyer. I can't help you with this problem.
Your Honor, can you ask her if she plans to go back to live to Alabama?
Are you returning to Alabama?
When my parents return, I'm the one picking them up at the airport. She's not allowed to be there at all in the
No. address. We're not talking about the victim. We're talking about you.
Yeah,
Do
when
you
my
plan to
parents return, I will be leaving
She's
back to
allowed to go pick her
Alabama.
parents up in Alabama.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
They have to put it in the piece. They have to have that in the PTR. So Kim may return to Alabama.
Oh,
Good morning, your name?
Madeline Silverio.
Ma'am, you're here in 20 MM 7285. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm placing you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have a question, because she said I can only leave one. Okay, because I have like all the furniture and all that stuff. That's not one day thing. So what would you want me to do?
Good morning, your name?
Milton Thomas, Your Honor.
Sir, good morning. This is 20 MM 7278. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent. Actually, I have a question on here. Mr. Is your last name Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. You have two first names.
Exactly.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, on your application for the public defender, it indicates that you make $1,700 every 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you have one dependent?
Yes.
Okay, so based upon your affidavit, you're not going to qualify for the public defender. You're going to have to try to hire a lawyer to help you with this case. It's based on income, and this indicates you make too much money.
So I make too much money?
Right.
Is that what it says on my pay stub or after taxes?
Like your take-home pay. Like, what do you
After
bring home?
taxes?
Yeah.
Around like 1,200.
Okay, I'm going to make the correction here on your affidavit. Would he qualify 1,200, one dependent?
Do I qualify?
Okay, so I'm going to make the correction here and appoint the public defender to represent you, okay?
Okay.
Based upon your net income. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name,
Morning.
please.
Alicia Mitchell.
What is it?
Alicia Mitchell.
Miss Mitchell, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Mitchell, do you want to have contact with Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you have any concerns about your children's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
During the course of your relationship, have there been instances of violence between the two of you?
No.
Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Thomas, I'm going to order at this time you're not to have any hostile contact with Miss Mitchell. Do you understand what that means?
Can you repeat that again?
Yes, sir. You're
Your
not to
Honor?
have any hostile contact with Miss Mitchell.
Okay.
All right? That means you can't argue with her, you can't fight with her, you can't be aggressive in any way.
Okay.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No questions, Your
All
Honor.
right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Now just leave. Just leave.
Yes, you can leave. Good morning, your name?
My name is Antonio Whitaker.
Mr. Whitaker, you're here in 20 MM 7280. You were arrested for battery dating violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. I will place you on pretrial release, sir, at this time. Do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I know I just wanted to, talk to you, but like I said, I never was a bad guy. Like I said, we just came back from vacation. And
I understand, sir. These are all things you'll be able to talk with your lawyer about. I'm not making any judgment about any of the facts today.
Sorry.
All right, I'm just setting your conditions of release. Thank you, sir. Mr. Powell bonded.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Avriana Wade. Ma'am, good morning. This is 19 CT 7041. You failed to appear for court related to a no valid driver's license case. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Ms. Wade?
Yes, Your Honor. It would be an adjudication of guilt, if I may have just one moment. It would be a withhold of adjudication.
Okay.
And don't drive without a valid driver's license and credit time served.
Thank you. Ms. Wade, did you want to accept that offer?
No, ma'am, I plead no contest.
Yeah, she'd like to
Oh.
resolve it by plea or contest.
Okay. Ms. Wade, did you have a chance to read the plea form before court?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yeah.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
I will accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by October 8th of 2021. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Michael White.
Mr. White, you're here in 20 CT 2114. You failed to appear for court on a charge of DUI. Your bond is $2,500, sir. I'm not going to take any action on your other cases. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Your Honor,
Yeah.
Ms. Monica Colon, she bond.
Oh, good, okay.
Your Honor, did you have any out-of-county cases for Michael White?
I have one judge I'm covering, I know of.
Did I miss that? I do not have it in my paperwork.
No, not a warrant, apologies.
Is it maybe maybe it got stuck in the regular out-of-county stuff?
I'm going to check the out of county to see if Mr. White is on there. He is not on the regular out of county, Your Honor.
All right. Well, do we need to address it? What is it?
It's 2 Polk County out of county warrants. And that's all the information I have.
Okay, well, if someone gives me the information, I can address it. Otherwise, I don't have anything to address.
And he does have bonds set for the 2 counts.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. It's just the one case?
Yes, Your Honor. I misspoke. It's 1 warrant, 2 counts.
2 counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
One case, 2 counts.
Thank you. Could we just bring Mr. White back, please? Thank you. 0062536. Polk County.
Mr. Bonner, you want me to do?
1,000 on count one, and 2,500.
Let me see. I have a packet of names here. Gosh.
Mr. White, you have an out-of-county case from Polk County that we did not address, and in that case, it's related to burglary of a conveyance and petty theft. Bond on count one for that case is set at 1,000. Bond on count two is at 250. Sir.
I already bonded out from that when I got out of Orange County the last time. I had to bond out of those, otherwise I would have gotten transferred.
They added them back on you.
Why?
That shouldn't be right.
Why would
Because
they
he
add
mentioned
if
that,
the warrant
and then
had
I
been
told him
Miss,
that,
wait,
so.
wait, just a minute, please. If the warrant was previously served, then were they trying to make it a hold? Or, I mean, if the
No,
warrant.
they were add-on charges. They added them on yesterday, the 7th, at 8:33 in the morning.
All right, so Mr. White, you'll have to, that's the information that I have. I have limited information about a Polk County warrant. If they said this is a valid warrant with the bonds posted, it has to remain as set. So you have to post them again. I don't know what the facts are of the case. Maybe they're alleging multiple cars, multiple victims. I don't know. But you'll have to talk to your lawyer about that. Thank you.
And, Your Honor, is the court appointing the PD locally, or is Polk County transporting?
I don't know. I'll appoint the public defender here.
Thank you. Yeah, I have all the forms for Hodge. Are you talking about Hodge? Is he talking about? Keyshawn Hodge? Is he talking about?
We're finished, sir. Thank you.
What you just asked me about someone.
No, I asked you.
Most of these are getting waived.
What about Orion Franaschini?
Oh,
Got to put you on it.
He's food waiver arraignment.
He's medical.
This is a violation of probation division 50. Status hearing is November 13th at 10 a.m. courtroom 7C.
There's two of them that should be David Steger and Sean McLeod. Sean, or I don't know.
Edgar Omar. Did we do that one? Okay. So there was two, though. We didn't do both of them. Which one did we previously do? Did we do the CT 863 or the CT 862?
We did review on CT 863.
All right, so in 20 CT 863, that also needs to be set in Division 85 with Judge Allen, pretrial conference, November 9th at 9 a.m.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, who was that?
Edgar Omar Sevilla Bengas. He was a Spanish interpreter case, but he actually had two cases and we only addressed one.
Okay, and they're both in Division 85, Your
That's
Honor?
correct.
Okay.
Kirian Toretta,
Medical, Your Honor.
that's a
Defense
Division
would waiver arraignment.
82 case. Pretrial conference is November 12th at 10:30 a.m. in courtroom 10B. Gregory Charles,
Medical.
20
Better.
MM 479. You're waiving the appearance,
Yes,
Mr.
Judge.
Robinson?
Yes, Judge.
That's Division 85 case, pretrial conference, November 9th at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A. Elvis Gainey.
Medical.
Mr. Robinson, do you want to waive the appearance?
Yes, Judge.
The Division 50 case.
Judge, I can probably make this go faster. We're waiving all the way up until Sharon McLaughlin.
Okay, thank you. So that's a Division 50 case, pretrial conference, November 2nd at 2:30 p.m., courtroom 7C. Tamika Johnson.
Waiver.
Medical.
What is it?
Medical, Your Honor.
It's 20 mm 243. That's a rotation division, Division 85, pretrial conference, November 9th at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A. Destiny Lefkey.
Medical also.
20 mm 6088. It says Division 50. It's a resisting.
It was originally division.
At 10 a.m.
Where?
Is it still set in Division 50, or was it?
We're
moved?
looking.
Yes, Division 50.
All right, so her arraignment is October 22nd at 10 a.m. in courtroom 7C. Sharma McLaughlin?
Yes.
Is that you, ma'am?
Yes, that's me.
Good morning. This is 20 mm 6315. This is your arraignment for the offense of trespass in an occupied structure. Is there an offer for Ms. McLaughlin?
I don't have an offer. I was hoping to get one from the state now, considering she's been for over 40 days at this point.
An offer was conveyed, and it's a credit time served.
Okay.
I show 40 days.
You want to do it?
Yes.
And it's an adjudication of guilt, 40 days Orange County Jail, 40 days credit time served, no contact with witnesses, no return to the scene, which is the Walmart at 8101 South John Young Parkway in Orlando. Abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Ms. McLaughlin, did you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No,
Are you on probation?
not that I know of.
Pardon me?
I don't think I am. I'm not exactly sure. There was an
She's
issue
not on
here.
probation, Your Honor.
No, okay. Ms. McLaughlin, do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
If I don't, I can't hear.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation.
Well, they told me that I'm not permanent resident and legal alien is about the same as a citizen. I'm here legally. They
Well,
call them
it's not.
permanent
It's
residents.
definitely not the same thing. So you are going to need to talk to a lawyer about that, ma'am.
So if I plead, I would go ahead and take time and be released today.
What I'm asking you is if you do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Do you want to proceed with the plea, knowing that information?
That.
If you're not, I can have your attorney.
I understand what it could mean.
Excuse me?
I'll take time served, and I understand what it can mean.
Okay. Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No. They give us medicine. I think it's hay fever and risperidone. I'm not sure.
Do you feel like it's affecting your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, I don't.
Okay, ma'am. I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 40 days in jail. You have credit for 40 days time served. You are not to return to the Walmart or have any contact with the witnesses. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by October 8th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, your name?
Morning.
Tell me your name.
David Stager.
Mr. Stager, this is 20 mm 6459, your arraignment for the offense of trespass on property. Is there an offer for Mr. Stager?
Yes, Judge, there's an offer, and it's for the credit time served. I was also hoping, there's another case pending as well that was a failure to appear. The offer on that is also credit time served. I was hoping to resolve both cases today.
What is the case number?
2020 MM 005522 AO.
AO.
Yes. If Ms. Bush would like it, I have email correspondence from the ASA in that division, or I think she
I
has
was
access.
checking to make sure there was an information file.
And, Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Was there an offer relayed on that case?
Yes, there was.
And what is it?
The credit time served.
Okay. No return to Disney?
This one was
40
40
days.
days.
He has 40 days. Let me show you the email.
Okay, I showed him at 35.
Did it also include no returning to the Disney
Yes,
property?
yes, it did, Judge.
Any Disney affiliated property, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Stager, did you want to accept those offers today?
Yes.
Do you understand the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
Yes.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
I will accept your plea in both cases, adjudicate you guilty. In MM 6459, sentence you to 40 days in jail. You've got credit for 40 days time served. You're not to return to the scene, and you'll have to pay court costs. And then in MM 5522, how much time does Mr. Stager have in that case?
I have 35 days.
I'll sentence you to 35 days with credit for 35 days time served. You're not to return to any Disney affiliated properties. Again, you'll have to pay court costs in that case as well. All the costs will be due by October 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, they're gonna. They should be out tomorrow. I have to go. No, they're gonna come to you. Thank you, Judge.
Sure. Good morning. Tell me your name. I just have the ad on Frank Alston.
Yes.
Is that Mr. Alston?
Yes.
Okay.
Judge, it's an out-of-county DOP.
Pardon me?
It's an out-of-county DOP.
Yes, and you're stepping in for Noah Loretta?
Yes.
Okay.
The form is gone, he's gone over the form, understands the rights, I just need his signature. Attorney Loretta has gone through it with him. He understands that it's credit time served for, and a revoking term with the admission.
Okay, he's gonna do 90 days. He's got credit for 30 in Seminole. And how many does he have here in Orange?
70, Judge.
70?
70.
So it's 110. 100.
No, I'm gonna have to, we're gonna get out tomorrow. I'm gonna have to come and have you watch the video tomorrow. All right? We're gonna deal with that later. Because that's getting dropped. What's your date of birth?
You have the plea form there for Mr. Alston?
Yes, I do, Judge.
All right, do you have a score sheet?
I do. One
Great.
second. I got a stack of emails here.
And Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
is that the form signed by the Seminole prosecutor, or is
Let me
a
look at it.
signature even required?
Maybe I do not. Perhaps I don't have a score sheet, Judge. Oh, it's a misdemeanor.
Oh,
DOT. That's live.
okay.
There's a DUI. Yeah, it needs your signature. Yeah, it's on the second page.
Okay.
Yes, Judge. Apologies. It's a misdemeanor BOP.
No problem. All right. Mr. Alston, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Alston, it's my understanding that at this time you wish to withdraw your earlier denial and enter admission in 19 MM 5360 to violating your probation. Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
And you're currently on probation for driving under the influence, which is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by 1 year in the county jail, 1 year of probation, and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand the maximum penalties for that offense?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you admitting you violated your probation by violating condition 2 and that you didn't pay your cost of supervision in the amount of $540 and that you were arrested in case number 20MM3813?
Correct.
It's my understanding that the agreement is a reaffirmation of your adjudication. Your probation will be revoked and terminated. You will be sentenced to 100 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 100 days time served. Your license will be suspended until you complete the DUI counterattack school and the victim awareness program, and you must, and all of your outstanding costs and your cost of supervision is going to be reduced to a judgment. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Alston, has anybody promised you anything other than what I've stated here in open court? Mr. Alston, at this time, I'm going to accept your admission, revoke and terminate your probation, sentence you to 100 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 100 days time served. Your license will be suspended until you complete the DUI counterattack school and the victim awareness program. All of your court costs and costs of supervision will be reduced to a civil judgment, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir. Thank you.
No.
Who's this? Tell me your name, please.
Gladys Herrera.
Judge, I believe the attorney on this case, Mr. Clark, may have submitted a Charlotte County VOP form and an agreement.
Yes, I have it, and I have the number for the lawyer.
Okay. I have a score sheet if you don't have one as well.
I do have the plea form. I'll need Ms. Bush to sign the plea form. And I do have the score sheet. Thank you.
Yeah, I think she has.
Oh, I thought she asked you if you had.
Oh, I have one. I have a copy. All of these.
Your Honor, does the court have the original plea form?
I do not.
Okay,
I have a copy.
you just have a copy?
Let's have a copy.
This won't turn on.
This is the copy.
Okay. The court's going to need an original.
I know, I can have them
signature.
submit. Okay, we can have them sign.
Yeah.
Is there someone on the line?
Yes.
Oh, hi, good morning. This is Judge Carter.
Good
Who am I
morning.
speaking with?
Martina Hedvicek. I'm the attorney for Ms. Herrera.
Thank you. Ms. Herrera, she is present in the court. Ms. Herrera, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, please state your name.
Gladys Herrera?
Do you read and understand English?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an opportunity to read the plea form before signing it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an opportunity to review that with your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are on probation for grand theft, burglary of a structure, and possession of cocaine. The maximum penalty for these offenses combined is 15 years in the state prison. Do you understand the maximum penalties for these offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Your plea form indicates that you would like to withdraw your previous denial and admit that you violated your probation by violating conditions 2, 3, and 10 of your community control order. Is that what you'd like to do today?
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding that the agreement is, which was approved by Judge Mason, is that your probation will be modified and your supervision extended for an additional 90 days. You will pay an additional $1,000 cost of prosecution, and all your prior terms of probation and financial obligations will carry forward. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I interrupt? It was $100 cost of prosecution, not $1,000.
Oh, thank you. That seems strange to me, but I was following what was on the order. Okay. It's $100. Early, if you want to make that correction. Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Ms. Herrera, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Has anyone promised you anything other than what I've stated here in open court today?
No, ma'am.
And do you feel forced, threatened, or coerced in entering this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that by entering into this plea today that you are giving up your right to have a hearing, making the state of Florida prove by the greater weight of the evidence that you violated your probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I have the score sheet here. Ms. Hedvig, do you have any objections to the score sheet?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Herrera, I will accept your plea. I find that it is freely and voluntarily entered, that you are alert and intelligent, and that you understand the nature and consequences of the plea, and that you understand the rights that you are given up. I also find that you are satisfied with your attorney and there is a sufficient factual basis. At this time, I will modify your probation by extending it an additional 90 days. Impose an additional $100 cost of prosecution, and again, you'll have to comply with any previously imposed financial or probationary terms. You'll need to contact probation within 24 hours of your release from custody.
Okay.
You also have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, ma'am. Anything else, Ms. Hedvig?
The only thing I would ask, Your Honor, is if there's any outstanding warrants for this particular case, if Your Honor would dismiss them.
I don't have any information in front of me about those at this time.
I don't believe there are. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. I'm not aware of any, but I would probably just follow up with Judge Mason in Charlotte County if that is an issue. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Herrera.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Judge, I have a copy of Ms. Bush's.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge Carter. If I could have the state and the defense place their appearances on the record, please.
Good afternoon. Edith Bush with the Office of the State Attorney.
Caleb Robinson on behalf of the Public Defender.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Mark J. Anton?
Give me 1 second, Mr. Anton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Anton, this is a case out of Osceola County, 19MM 4337. Mr. Anton, were you going to be posting your bond?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you want to have a trial on your case, or did you want to enter a plea?
I just wanted to resolve this as quickly as possible. I have time in Osceola, I believe, on the charge, and I'm awaiting extradition back to Osceola, it says. But if I could resolve it today, that would be most appreciative, Your Honor.
Okay. If you didn't have to pay a bond, would you still want to resolve your case?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the means right now with the holiday seasons coming up to post a bond.
I understand, but if you didn't have to pay a bond, would you still want to take a plea?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to read the plea form before court?
They didn't provide me with one, but I'm familiar with the plea form.
All right, so you understand that by entering into a plea today that you're going to give up your constitutional rights to have a trial and make the state of Florida prove that you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, I understand that. That's
Okay.
correct, Your Honor.
And you want to give up those rights today?
Yes, Your Honor. Does the state have an offer?
It would be a plea to the bench.
Oh.
It would be a plea to the court.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you on probation?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
All right, sir. How many days does Mr. Anton have?
14 days in the Orange County Jail. We don't have the Osceola.
All right. So, Mr. Anton, I'm going to sentence you to 14 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 14 days time served. You will have to pay court costs.
Your Honor, the state is going to ask that the court order and reserve as to restitution. There does appear to be restitution in this matter.
Okay. Is there a cost of investigation? I wasn't provided that information, so if you have it, I will be happy to order it.
And Your Honor, I do not see anything that, because this was originally with a felony.
Oh, okay.
So I
Felony was
don't
dropped.
see a cost of investigation in this.
Okay. So, Mr. Anton, the court will order restitution in reserve as to the amount. I'm going to give the state of Florida 60 days to provide that information if there is, in fact, restitution for the items that were stolen.
It was $15.38 worth of olives.
Okay.
I just
That may be true. And
It
the
was
state
in my
will-
arrest affidavit. I thought I'd provide the court with that information.
Okay. So the state will be able to provide that information and it'll be included into your court costs, which you'll have to pay in Osceola County. That will be due by October 8th of 2021. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
And Your Honor, if we could have a no return to the public's.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
I understand.
All right, Mr. Anton, thank you.
Thank you, Judge Carter. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a pleasant day.
You too.
And did the court say 30 days?
Oh, I did 60.
I'm sorry?
I said 60.
Okay, thank you.
And then, Arlene, 273 are the costs. Good morning, your name? Or good afternoon, your name?
Sterling Baylor.
Mr. Baylor, you are here in 20 MM 7283. You were arrested for trespassing. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, is there an offer for Mr. Baylor?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and take this cover sheet off. No return to the Citgo gas station, no contact with witnesses, abide by all trespass warnings, and court costs.
Mr. Baylor, did you want to accept the offer? I didn't know.
I accept the offer.
You'd like to accept the offer, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by October 8th of 2021. You're not to return to the Citgo. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Sandra Hill, Washington.
Ma'am, you're here in 20 MM 7286. You were arrested for petty theft. There's probable cause. You're not to return to the Walmart. Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Someone is going to contact you, okay?
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Andrew Hudley.
Mr. Headley, this is 20MM 7284. You were arrested for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the Walmart.
There is an offer from the state judge, if I could briefly.
Pardon me?
convey to him. It would be to no bill or drop count one, the possession of marijuana, and an adjudication of guilt on the paraphernalia charge.
The offer, so Ms. Bush, you're null processing, or you're going to enter a no
Count
info?
one would be no billed and an adjudication of guilt, 2 days. Credit time served and court cost as to count 2.
Thank you.
You're gonna drop the weed charge, so I don't lose my license?
That's right.
And I'll get out today with credit with time served?
That's right.
I'll take it.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court?
No, I did not.
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to have a trial by a jury and make the state of Florida prove that you're
yes,
guilty
I
beyond a
understand.
reasonable doubt?
Yeah, so basically I'm signing guilty to a drug paraphernalia charge today.
That's right.
And I'm getting time served and I'm getting out.
Right.
Okay.
You want to give up your constitutional right to have a trial?
Yes.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
All right, sir, I'm going to accept your plea as to count 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the Walmart. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due by October 8th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the state's filing a dismissal or
And the state
no
announces that filing a no information as to count 1.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I'll provide that to the court in just a moment.
Sure, no problem, Ms. Bush.
John Sanchez is medical, Your Honor.
All right, that's 20MM 7288. Mr. Robinson, I will appoint your office. Do you want to waive the appearance?
Yes, Judge.
He was arrested for trespass on property after warning and petty theft. There's probable cause. He's not to return to the Wawa. Bond is 500 on count 1 and 100 on count 2.
Jessica Sheffer is a refusal.
I'll find a waiver of her appearance based upon her refusal to come to court. And 20MM 7290, I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. She was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. She's not to return to the Quality Inn. Her bond is $500. I'm not going to take any action on her out on bond case. Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Harry Richardson.
All right, Mr. Richardson, you were arrested for failing to appear in court for pretrial conference related to trespass in an occupied structure. I received an email that you didn't qualify for pretrial release. I am
Excuse me, say that again.
Pardon me?
I didn't hear what you said.
You didn't qualify for pretrial release. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you screened for mental health pretrial release. If you don't qualify, then I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir. All right, let me give you a court date
Can I
just
ask
in
a
case you're
question?
released. Pardon me?
Why didn't I qualify?
Well, the email that I got said that they tried to ask you some questions, but you weren't straightforward in answering the questions, that you weren't providing them the information that they asked.
When was this? Today?
Early this morning.
This morning. It would have been this morning. So they were trying to find out, like, who's your emergency contacts, where you
I don't have one.
Okay.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Sure.
I was in a motel room that caught fire. It was my room that caught fire.
So hold on, Mr. Richardson, if you're gonna talk about the trespass, I'm not here to talk about that case today, so I don't want you to talk about that, okay? I'm just trying to figure out the best form of release for you.
I'm homeless, and I'm staying in a hotel.
All right. Mr.
I
Richardson?
just got out of the hospital. I was in the hospital 3 months, 3 days. I got out 10:30 yesterday, a.m. And here I am.
Mr. Richardson, how am I gonna make sure that you're at your next court date? Where do you get mail, or do you have access to a phone?
I don't.
Okay.
If you give me a court date, I will appear.
Okay.
Your Honor, I never received paper for my first court date.
Okay, well, listen, I'm gonna give you a date right now, and then there.
Can't be soon because, like I said, I'm homeless and I'm staying in a hotel. And the longer you put my date off, the more time I gotta spend in the hotel because I wanna move out of the state. You've been so terrible to me. I don't wanna live here anymore. I wanna move out of the state.
But Mr. Richardson, I'm gonna have you screened for the mental health pretrial release program before you go, because if you qualify, that would be very helpful to you, I think. Based on the information that you're providing me, they might be able to help you find a place to stay, right? Get you linked up to some services in the community so it's not so hard for you. So when they come talk to you, just try to answer their questions the best that you can. Okay? But I'm going to give you a court date. If he does not qualify for mental health pretrial release, he's to be released ROR. This is a Division 80 case, which is Judge Gibson. The court date is November 10th at 9 a.m.
You're getting out today. You're getting out of jail.
in courtroom 9C. Mr. Robinson, did you write that down for him?
Yeah, I'll write it down for him right now. You said 9:10, Judge?
Your
I'm sorry,
Honor?
not 10. Can you give me the date one more time, Judge?
November 10th
Thank
at
you.
9 a.m. Courtroom 9C.
I will notify the court of an address which will be out of state.
Yeah, thanks.
But since I have a date, I know to be here.
Okay.
I can travel here. It's gonna take me 12 hours to get here. I'm going to Birmingham.
Well, it sounds like you should stay put.
But I mean, if it's November, I can come back. I will come back
All
because
right, well,
like I said,
as long as you're here, sir.
yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. I got it. Just writing down this one. 9C. When you get out today, you have an interview. They're going to talk to you, okay? They're going to talk to you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
My name is Ferris Hardaway.
Mr. Hardaway, this is 20 MO 1036. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Hardaway?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, court costs.
Mr. Hardaway, did you want to accept the plea offer?
Yeah, I accept that. I ain't got no problem with that, lady.
All right. Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up today?
No,
Are you on probation?
no.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yeah, I understand that.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No,
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You have to pay court costs, which will be due by October 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir.
okay, thanks a lot, Judge.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ma'am,
Tell me your name.
Travis Hawkins.
Mr. Hawkins, this is 20 MO 1037. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There's probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Hawkins?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
Mr. Hawkins, did you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up? by entering the plea?
Only thing I want to say, I never take another bottle of water out somebody's car.
Okay. But in terms of the plea form and any constitutional rights that you have, do you understand that you're giving up your right to have a trial and your right to make the state of Florida prove that you're guilty?
Yeah.
So you're doing this because it's in your best interest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in a deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs by October 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Dạ, my name Tuấn Nguyễn, ma'am.
Mr. Nguyen, this is 20 MO 1039. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, is there an offer for Ms. Nguyen?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication, 2 days, Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
Did you want to accept the offer, Mr. Nguyen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up that are on the plea form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by October 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Todd Phillips.
Mr. Phillips, this is 20 MO 1040. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. Ms. Bush, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. Is there an offer for Mr. Phillips?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
Mr. Phillips, did you want to accept the plea?
Yes, sure.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No. With the court, was that court fees
You will have to pay court costs. They'll be due in 1 year.
in a year? Okay. Yes.
Mr. Phillips, are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay the court costs. Those will be due by October 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Sid.
Kenneth Anderson, bond, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Demetrius Barnes, also bond.
Are you Isaiah Barnes?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barnes, this is case number 20 CF 9636. You failed to appear for court. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you.
So, is this the same $1,000 that I already had before? Because they already told me about that.
Yes.
Okay, no
All
problem.
right, thank you.
And Your Honor, was the public defender previously?
No. Good afternoon, your name?
Good afternoon, Madam. Pablo Catanzaro.
This is 20 CF 11457, sir. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for sexual battery on a child under 12. I will appoint the public defender. Actually, sir, did you hire a lawyer to represent you, or did you want me to appoint the public defender?
No, yes, ma'am. My private lawyer is coming tomorrow.
Do you want me to reset your case for tomorrow?
Yes, he said he's coming tomorrow.
Okay, who's your lawyer?
Sean Landing.
Sean what?
Landing. Sean Landing. Sorry.
It's okay. Landy?
Excuse me?
Can you spell the last name for me?
Landing, like Landing?
Like landing on the moon?
Yes.
Okay, Sean Landing. All right, sir, I'll reset your case for tomorrow then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Barbara J. DeShane.
What is it?
Barbara J. DeShane.
Okay, Ms. Deshane. Did Ms. Cuff bond? 2002-1949.
Yes, she bonded.
Ms. Deshane, this is 20 CF 12001. You failed to appear for court. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for possession of MDMA. Your bond is $1,000, ma'am. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name?
John DiGiacomo.
Sir, this is 20 CF 12134. You were arrested for burglary of a conveyance and for petty theft. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $1,500. Your bond on count 2 is going to be $100.
Okay, and in that, I didn't burglarize anything.
So hold on. I don't want you to talk to me about the facts of your case today, okay? I'm just here to
Okay.
set the conditions of your release. I'm not judging whether or not the information is true.
Okay, so when will my next court date be?
I do not know. You need to stay in contact with your public defender, and they'll be able to let you know that information.
Okay, and I'll be inside this jail until then?
If you can't post your bond, yes.
Okay.
Okay? Good afternoon. Your name?
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Corey Esther.
Mr. Esters, this is 20 CF 12101. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for trafficking in methamphetamine greater than 28 grams, possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 going to be $25,000. Count 2, 150. Count 3, 150. Count 4, 150. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. You will be randomly tested for substances through pretrial release.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
Lakeithan McGee.
Pardon me?
Lakeithan McGee.
How about Mr. Harris?
Mr. Harris is in hospital now.
All right, I'll reset Mr. Harris for 24 hours from his release. And you're Mr. Keon?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Keon, sir, you are here in 20 CF 12139. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you.
Any conditions, Your Honor?
No.
No conditions?
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
George Kitchen.
Mr. Kitchen, you have two cases. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in each.
Excuse me?
I said you have 2 cases. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in each case. You were arrested in 20 CF 12083 for driving while license permanently revoked. I don't find probable cause for that offense. I find probable cause for driving while license suspended. I reviewed his driving record and I don't see any indication that it's permanently revoked.
The state's not going to make a request, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Your bond in that case is going to be $500. You also have an out-of-county warrant from Sumter County. It's a violation of probation for possession of cannabis and a possession of drug paraphernalia. The bond in that case, sir, is set at none. I will appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate with Sumter County on that case. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Keon Little.
Mr. Little, you are here in 20 CF 12078. You were arrested for carjacking with a firearm and robbery with a firearm. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts that were contained within the sworn arrest affidavit, facts that came from the victim and a witness, and facts that came via investigative means. Those facts identify Mr. Keon Little as one of two individuals that did commit the carjacking with a firearm and the robbery with the firearm. And also, the state would ask the court to take into consideration Mr. Little's admissions to law enforcement and hold him at no bond as to both counts.
Mr. Robinson?
At this time, the defense would like to defer to the trial court to actually commit the Arthur hearing as it needs to continue.
The entire hearing? So-
Yes, Judge.
Okay. So I'll just indicate that the defense waived their right to have the state establish at this time that there is proof evident or presumption
Yes,
great.
Judge.
And Mr. Little, your lawyer can file a motion in Division 16 to have the court determine whether or not you're entitled to a bond. At this time, bond on each count will remain at none. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, the division number on that was?
16.
16, thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Elijah Jeremy Marcelino.
This is 20 CF 12138. You were arrested for carrying a concealed firearm. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Your bond is going to be $1,000. I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Thank you.
I have a question. One question.
Okay.
Is it 10% or is it just $1,000?
You will have to talk to the bondsman about that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Travis Dontel Marshall.
Mr. Marshall, this is 20 CF 12073. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Your bond is $1,000. I'm not going to revoke your bond on your other case. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Michelangelo Mateo.
Mr. Mateo, this is 20 CF 12118. You were arrested for petty theft, second degree, third or subsequent offense. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the Home Depot. Your bond is $1,000. Thank you.
Am I
Good afternoon, your name?
Juan Navarez.
Mr. Navarez, this is 20 CF 12135. You were arrested for aggravated battery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is $3,500. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
How you doing?
Tell me your name.
Michael Pham?
Mr. Pham, this is 20 CF 12071. You were arrested for possession of a controlled substance, driving while license revoked as a habitual offender, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Pham, you understand you don't have a driver's license. You cannot drive without a valid driver's license. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your bond on count 1 is going to be $150. Your bond on count 2 is $1,000. Your bond on count 3 is $100. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription, and you're going to be subjected to random urinalysis testing. I'm not going to revoke your bond on your open case. Thank you, sir. Yes. Yes. Good afternoon. Your name?
Landy Noble Reyes.
Mr. Reyes, you're here in 20 CF 154. You failed to appear for your sentencing hearing. Your bond is set at none, sir. I will appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed. Oh, who's the lawyer? All right. So, Mr. Reyes, you're going to want to get in touch with Ms. Myers, who's your lawyer, so she can get you set back on the docket for your sentencing.
I'm kind of lost.
Okay, so you failed to come to court for a
Yeah.
sentence to be
When
sentenced.
was this?
It was on August 17th of this year. You were supposed to appear in court for your sentencing, for your plea hearing. And you failed to appear for your plea hearing. So you'll need to get in touch with Ms. Myers so that you may get placed back on the docket to enter your plea. Good afternoon, your name?
Christian Santana Gregory.
Did Mr. Reiner bond? 2002-1968.
Yeah.
Bonded. Sir, you were arrested in 20 CF 12088 for aggravated battery with a weapon. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to return to the scene. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is $5,000, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Kara Smith.
Ms. Smith, you're here in 20 CF 12143. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, and introducing contraband into a county facility. There's probable cause in each case. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Jeffrey Torrance.
Mr. Torrance, this is 20 CF 12084. You were arrested for burglary of a dwelling and criminal mischief. This was pursuant to a probable cause capias. The state has filed a 2-count information charging you with the same. It's alleged that on February 15th of 2020, you burglarized the home of Kelly Wright, and damaged her property.
That's my home.
So do you have any information as to why the capias is ROR on count 1?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay.
But I'll see if there's something unusual.
Okay. It just is odd for the offense.
Yes.
And there's an information filed, so.
And that is 20 CF 12084.
Yes. Mr. Torrance is out on bond?
No, but he is in on other charges. If that's what you're asking.
Okay, because the face sheet says he's out on bond.
Oh yeah, this is the he was booked in on August the 30th. So it's like add-on charges on a person that's already in jail. It's the same information as previously. It doesn't get updated.
Okay.
It's weird. Yeah.
And Your Honor, I'm having a hard time even finding his case. I'm going to take some of the letters of his last name out. And his date of birth is...
Okay, so I just looked at the order directing the clerk to issue the capias. The judge found no probable cause as to count one.
Okay.
Okay,
And
so,
I'm still not finding the filed case. I find an at-large matter, but I don't see where anything was filed.
okay, I mean, I do see the information that's included in my paperwork. But Judge Roche found no PCS to count one. So, sir, you'll be released ROR on count one, and your bond on count two is $500. You're not to have any contact with the victim.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. No. Oh, is it on there? Yes, you can leave that. That's fine.
Velez Perez is downtown courtyard.
Velez Perez.
Yes, Your Honor.
What about, yes, Manny Luacia Garcia?
Inmate number?
200-21936. I think they bonded.
Bonded.
Yes, okay. And then, I'm sorry, Mr. Velez Perez is downtown.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Robinson, I'll appoint your office to represent him. Do you want to waive his appearance?
For IAs, yes.
Okay. That's 20 CF 12070. He was arrested for possession of fentanyl, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. He is not to return to the scene or possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 150. Bond on count 3 is 100. And I'm going to take no action on the out on bond cases.
Thank you, Judge.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Mark Spencer Wildy.
Mr. Weldy, you have two cases. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both. You have 20 CF 12127. You were arrested for driving while license suspended as a habitual offender. There is probable cause. Your bond is $500. And you have a Volusia County case. You failed to appear for a driving while license suspended case. The bond is $250. 6813, and that's the same case. All right, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Latoya Williams.
Ms. Williams, you're here in 20 CF 12074. You were arrested for possession of MDMA and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $100. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. And I'm not going to revoke your bond on your out on bond case. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Brian Wynn.
Mr. Wynn, this is 20 CF 12132. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 is $1,000. Bond on count 2 is $100. Bond on count 3 is $100. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to have you randomly tested through pretrial release. On 20 CF 11264, I'm going to revoke your pretrial release, and I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. I'm not going to take any action on the other cases. 100, 2,500 on count 1 and 100 on count 2.
That's 11264.
11264, yes. Thank you, Mr. Wynn. Good afternoon, your name?
Laquan Jones.
Mr. Jones, you are here in 18 CF 14674. It's alleged that you have violated your probation by failing to report to your probation officer and moving without getting permission. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
My name is Gene Paulman.
Mr. Parliament, you were here in 20 MM 7292. You were arrested for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in all the cases this morning. Bond in that matter will be $500. In 20 MM 7293, you were arrested for providing false ID to law enforcement. There's probable cause. Bond is $100. And you have 20 CT 6258. You were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked. There is probable cause. Bond will be $100. Did I miss the VOP warrant? Is it? And you are on probation in 20 CF 3516. The officer completed an on-view violation of probation related to the new law offenses that I just explained to you. There is probable cause for the violation of probation, and bond in that case will be set at none. Thank you, sir. Dexter, can you guys not hear me? Okay, okay. I just wondered if, am I talking softly? They can't hear? Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that I was speaking loud enough. Okay. All right. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Frankie Beck.
Mr. Beck, you are here in case number 20 CF 254. This is an out-of-county warrant out of Lake County related to grand theft. Your bond, sir, is $5,000. I'm not going to take any action on the Orange County case. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Rael Brown.
Mr. Brown, you have several cases. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in all of them this afternoon, and they can help you coordinate with the respective counties where your cases are pending. In the first case, you have 18 CF 4385. It's an out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County related to defrauding a financial institution, cashing or depositing a worthless check, grand theft, fraudulent use to obtain more than $100, and fraudulent use of personal identification information. Your bond in that matter is set at none. There's 18 CT 3970. You failed to appear for a driving while license suspended case. Your bond in that matter is set at none, and that is also out of Osceola County. You have 18 CT 3952. You failed to appear for arraignment on a driving while license suspended case. Your bond in that matter is also set at none. You have 18 CT 3953, which is failure to appear on a driving while license suspended. Your bond in that case is $2,000. And you have 19 CF 311, which is, again, an Osceola County case. It's related to uttering a counterfeit check, depositing a check with intent to defraud, and defrauding a financial institution. Bond on count 1 is $1,000, bond on count 2, $1,000, bond on count 3, $5,000, bond on count 4, $500. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Matthew Delmere.
Mr. Delmere, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Hillsborough County related to failing to appear for solicitation and distribution on public roads. The bond is $1,000, sir. Mr. Delmere, are you going to be able to post that bond?
I'm not sure. I have the money, but I don't know if my dad will do it or not.
All right. Were you wanting to have a trial in that case, or were you considering a plea?
Plea.
Okay, I'm going to reach out to Hillsborough County and see if that can be approved, and if so, I'll bring you back to court to get the case resolved if you're unable to post the bond.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Robert McRae, ma'am.
Mr. McRae, this is an out-of-county warrant from Volusia County, Florida, related to domestic violence battery in violation of pretrial release. Your bond, sir, is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate with Volusia County.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James Medlock is medical, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Medlock. This is an out-of-county warrant from Alachua County. His bond is set at none.
He does have reporting requirements. Your
Yes,
Honor.
we'll include that in the order.
Brandon Rio bonded.
Okay. Good morning, or good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Takiria Smith.
Miss Smith, you are here on an out-of-county warrant. You actually have two cases out of Seminole County, Florida. One is for a violation of probation on a grand theft and fraudulent use of personal identification information. The bond is set at none. The other one is an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County as well, and it's for burglary of an occupied structure. Bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you in coordinating with Seminole County.
Can I ask a question really
Sure.
fast? They put a notification for me as a GPS notification. A GPS notification.
That's a Seminole County issue. We don't have GPS in Orange County.
Okay, and are these two warrants from my 2018 case and the 2019 case?
The first one is a 19 case, and the other one is an 18, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Sky Weaver. Good afternoon.
Miss Weaver, you are here on a case out of St. Lucie County, Florida. It's a warrant related to possession of cannabis, possession of cocaine, and possession of heroin. Count 1, bond is $750. Count 2 is $15,000. Count 3 is $30,000. It looks like you failed to appear in those cases, ma'am.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent you and help you assist in coordinating with St. Lucie County.
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Good morning.
Sir, tell me your name.
Oh, Roger Welfare.
Mr. Welfare, you are here for an out-of-county matter from Osceola County, Florida. It's a domestic battery by strangulation. Mr. Welfare, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is $5,000, sir. Thank you. Okay, anything else from the state or the defense?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the defense.
All right, then court will be in recess.